Welcome back to the Bear Down Podcast on NCAA Football 14, guys, where it's all about everything Arkansas A&M Black Bears. We just wrapped up our bye week, getting ready to take on the 3-4 LSU Tigers. Our Bears are 7-0 on the season. Our last game was against the rival A-State, where we barely got out of there with the dub, 45-43. We'll look back at that game. Also look at the top 5 plays from the week, and we'll get ready to look ahead, man. We've got 5 games left in this season, fellas. 5 games. So we'll look at the rest of the schedule, and we'll also look at our roster, because I think next season it's going to be a lot of changes. So this A-State game, man, it was a frustrating game for us. We got off to a slow start again. We were down 14-7 at the end of the first quarter, but luckily we're able to get things going in the second, putting up 17 points. Kept that momentum going into the third quarter, winning that one 14-7. But in the fourth quarter, I don't know what happened to this team. We almost choked this game. We gave up 22 points in the fourth quarter to A-State. It's just a disappointing showing. This game, we threw 2 interceptions with Gabe Perez. He had 3 touchdowns, 257 through the air. It was the run game that really kind of carried us. Fagan had 155 and a touchdown. Harris had 45 and a touchdown, and AB had a touchdown as well. Wide receivers, Tariq Larson has been playing just crazy, man. He has become one of Gabe Perez's favorite targets in the slot. His speed is hard to guard for other teams. But Trey Morgan, man, I feel like we got to get him some more yards. 4 catches for 34 yards, that's just not enough. But also Ashton Ryan, too, man. 3 catches for 35, that's not enough for him. Defense side of the ball, Brian Jones had one of those games, man. One of those games where he's going to remember for a long time. His last rivalry game of his career, 19 tackles with 4 TFLs, and he had a safety as well. He had a very down game versus TCU, and I'm glad to see him finally burst back onto the scene with almost 20 tackles. But again, the biggest problem I felt, we're not getting pressure on the quarterback. Battle had all day in the pocket to throw. He finished with 207 yards through the air, and I think he rushed for almost 100 yards on the ground as well. He had 3 touchdown passes and 70 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. We gave up 148 yards to Vickers. He had a touchdown as well. The backup Houston had 75 yards. So their offense, it was kind of like how our offense is, or supposed to be. They just ran it better than we did. But that's okay. We still get the dub. It was the closest game of the season so far, 45-43. We have 5 games left on the schedule, guys. This week we take on LSU, 3-4 on the season. Then we're out on the road to take on Texas. They're 6-2, ranked 18th. Iowa State after that for homecoming. They're 7-1 on the year. We go back out on the road for K-State. They're 2-5, and then return home for Senior Day against Kansas, and they're 2-6. I'm going to be honest with you. This LSU game is going to be tough, but I think this Texas game is going to be even tougher. Playing Texas down in Austin is never a good look. And then Iowa State is actually having a really good year this year. Strope is playing at a Heisman-type level. This might be a tough one, too, especially for a homecoming game. But I believe in our boys. I know the coaching staff believes in them as well. We could finish undefeated, but this Texas game really has me concerned. So here's a look at the stats so far through the season. Gabe having a monster year, 2,248 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He threw 2 picks 2 weeks ago versus A-State. But again, not turning the ball over a lot. 5 is not that many considering how many we threw last season with Craig Washington. On the ground, Philip Fagan knocking on the door of 1,000 yards, 136 carries, 834, and 15 touchdowns. Then you've got Ira with 57 carries for 411 and 8 scores. AB, 17 carries, 56 yards, and 6 scores. Perez outside the pocket, 23 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown. Out wide, Trey Morgan leads this team, 39 grabs for 516 and 7 scores. Then you got Ashton Ryan second on the team with 28 grabs for 491 and 3 scores. Tariq Larson a downfield threat, 27 catches, 551 yards and 4 scores. Fred Foreman has 22 grabs for 381 and 2 scores. Then you've got Mike Warren, the true freshman, 14 grabs, 148 and 2 scores. Ira has 7 catches for 45. Fagan 6 for 50. DT has 5 for 56 and a touchdown. Will Rogers 1 for 3. Adam Lawson 1 for 41. And then you got James Alexander 1 for 16. Defensively, Brian Jones is on his way to 100 tackles this year, 73 tackles, 21 TFLs, 4 sacks, and he's got a pick as well as a safety. Then you've got Nick Ginn with 37 tackles. Bill Jennings, for him to be such a smaller corner, he's doing a great job tackling. 35 tackles on the season. Casey Buchanan with 23. Dylan Gross with 22. Brian Charles has 22 as well. David Sims at outside linebacker has 20. You got Dustin Carey with 19. Matt Scott with 17. Bo McGee with 15 tackles. Corey Bentley has 15 as well. And then Ben Bowen has 10. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of disappointed in how Bo McGee has been playing this year. I was expecting bigger things from him. But he's getting routed up. That A-State game, he was getting routed up. A lot of our guys were. Casey Buchanan is another one. I expect our secondary to play a lot better moving forward. They have to, because this LSU team that we're getting ready to play, they've got some solid wide receivers. Sack department, Brian Charles has 6, and you've got Walker and Gross and Jones each with 4. You got Garrett Anderson, he has 3. Bentley has 2. You got Williams, Hester, Bowen, and McGee each with 1. We haven't had an interception in a while. We need to get some picks, man. Matt Scott has 3. Bill Jennings has 2. Then you've got Ginn, Coco, and Jones each with 1. I was hoping for a touchdown on the special teams, man. Marquise Powers, 763 return yards on kickoff. And then Tariq Larson has 307 on punt returns. One of these guys has to break for one. They're doing a great job, like, skying the ball so the speed does not kill them. But I feel like Tariq is due. I think he's due for one. And for the first time this season, the BCS standings are out. And we're the number 1 team in the country. Our Black Bears are number 1. And you've got Michigan in at 2. They blanked Minnesota last week. Florida State is 3. Auburn is 4. Penn State is 5. So undefeated teams, top 5. Then you've got Notre Dame in at 6. Look at San Diego State, undefeated, in at 7. You got Washington at 8. Arizona is 9. And Michigan State rounds out your top 10. Indiana is 11. There's Bama in at 12. They've got 2 losses. They lost to Tennessee last week. Wow. Fresno State undefeated. They're 13. You got Miami in at 14. Ole Miss is 15. Tennessee in at 16. Iowa State 17. Florida is 18. NC State is 19. Wisconsin is 20. Texas falls 8 spots to 21. Vandy is 22. Oklahoma falls 8 spots to 23. They lost to Iowa State. Then you've got TCU at 24. And South Alabama rounds out your top 25. They fell 14 spots after losing to ULM. So here is a look at the Big 12 standings right now. We are the only undefeated team in the Big 12. 7-0, 4-0 in conference. Iowa State, they're 7-1 and 3-1 in conference. Then Oklahoma, 4-3 overall, 2-1 in conference. If it comes down to it, it looks like it's going to be between Oklahoma and Baylor taking us on in the Big 12 championship. Then you got Arkansas in at 5, TCU is 6, Texas 2 losses in conference. Texas Tech is 1-2. OK State is 1-2 in conference. K-State is 1-3. Then you got Kansas 1-3, and then A-State. That is tough to see, man. 2-5, 1-5 in conference. All right, fellas, it is time for my favorite part of the podcast, the top 5 plays from the week. We did have a short week, but you know what? We still had a lot of plays to look at. So get ready, sit back, grab your popcorn. It's time for the top 5 plays from the week. And we're going to kick things off with number 5. All right, 2nd and 7. We go 4 wide. Trips to the right. Perez going to the air. Boom, great throw. Tariq with the catch, and it's 1st and goal Bears, 20 yards. Great throw. Tariq took up to 3 catches for 72 yards on the day. Man, put it right over that linebacker. And here's number 4. Great kick. Great kick. Go out of bounds. Go out of bounds. What a kick. What a kick. Williamson with the kick of the year, and the ball dies at the 1 yard line. Number 3. And Battle keeps it and gets stopped in the end zone for the safety. Let's go, defense. Brian Jones. Yes, sir. Number 2. We got to take the top off here. 1st and 10. 4 wide. Play action. Got him. Got him. What a throw. Tariq Larson to the house. Touchdown, Bears. What a throw by Gabe Perez as the pressure got there. Woo! And here is the top play from the week. And they got to get this 2-point conversion. They come out with 2 tight ends right, twins to the left. I think it's the same play they've run twice now. And he Flynn dropped it. Oh my God. Oh my God. We just got bailed out. How did he drop that? He just dropped. Wow. In case you missed the last video, go check it out, man. We talked about the recruiting class. So we're not going to cover recruiting this week, but it's shaping up to be a really good class for us. I'm excited about it. But before we get out of here, I want to take a look at our roster. Going into next season, we have a lot of question marks. Gabe Perez is having one of those seasons where I feel like he could declare early. We do have 2 freshman quarterbacks coming in next season, and they're going to push Tony Mitchell for playing time. I like Tony. I think that he has great speed. He has the athleticism that I'm looking for, but the throw power and the accuracy are going to be a major concern. And the guys that are coming in, they have great arm talent. So it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 guys are able to come in and leave their mark on the offense. In the backfield, Ira's graduating, but we'll still have Philip Fagan. Anthony Bryant will be back. We'll have Marquise Powers back for his senior year. And then Corey Green will be coming off his red shirt next season. Honestly, this is what I see end up happening. Fagan will still be the starter. Powers will see some playing time. But I'm thinking Anthony Bryant might slide into that Ira Harris role. The speed's not there, but the power is. The counter runs might work for him. He could take the load off of Fagan, taking the runs up the middle. But I do want to see Marquise Powers. I think he's got great speed, 94 speed, and I think he can come out the backfield and catch as well. We're going to be stacked at running back next year, and that's a good problem to have. But I think we're going to run into a problem at wide receiver. Trey Morgan graduates. He should be a first-round pick, if not a top 5 pick. Then Tariq Larson's graduating. You got Fred Foreman graduating. You've got James Alexander graduating. So that leaves Donald Thomas back for his senior year, unless he declares early. Then you've got Justin Harris, a redshirt junior. He is more of a possession-type receiver. Mike Warren is a true freshman getting playing time right now. He's going to be our slot guy next year. And then you've got Dominic Foreman from South Carolina, who's on his red shirt. And he's a possession kind of guy. He's got kind of like a Trey Morgan feel to him as well. And then you've got Curtis Larkin, who's a true freshman from Georgia. I don't see him playing a lot, especially with the guy. We got a couple guys coming in next season. Flowers is definitely going to be pushing for playing time his freshman year. He just looks like he's going to be a dynamic wide receiver. And then we also have one other guy, Holloway, that we're recruiting still. So I think we're going to be very young at the wide receiver spot next year. But I think there's still playmakers on the team that can help us out. Not too concerned about our tight end position. Ashton Ryan will be back for his sophomore year. Adam Lawson will be back for his junior year. And if we need to, we can move Will Rogers back outside to wide receiver. I think he can still play wide receiver. He's got great route running, solid speed, and a great pair of hands. Majority of the offensive line should be back next year. Will Horn at left tackle. Then we've got redshirt junior Charles Stevens, and I think we might move him to right tackle next year. Drew White will be back for his junior year. Hopefully he gets a little bit better. He misses a couple plays. His awareness is low. We need to get that up. And then we've got John Hawkins back for his senior year. But Tyrone McMillan, he's coming. He's coming. Trust me. And then at right guard, we've got Keith Smith graduating, but there's Jim Palmer waiting in the wings to take over. And then at right tackle, Colin Dodd will be graduating. And we have Alfred Robinson there right now as his backup. So Robinson and Stevens, maybe even McMillan, could battle for that right tackle position next season. Defensive side of the ball, we're losing 3 DNs this year to graduation. Dylan Gross, Brian Charles, and then Corey Bentley. We've got Trey Turner back. Tommy Washington, the true freshman, will be coming off his red shirt. I'm a fan of his. That 80 speed and 89 acceleration, very intriguing. And then Caleb Walker on the outside. 6'5", 267, more of a power rusher. He's causing havoc this season, man. He's got 4 sacks, and I think he's got like 3 forced fumbles. We've got some solid D tackles, man. These guys are very young. Garrett Anderson will be back for his junior year. And then we've got 4 freshmen that all can play. And they all the 3 guys that are not redshirted each have a role on this defense. And I think that's the best way to do it, man. We can rotate all 4 of these guys at any time. We just gotta be able to plug these holes, and I think as they grow in the defense, we'll get better at that. We've added a couple outside linebackers in recruiting. Ben Bowen will be back for his senior year, hopefully. We're gonna kick Kyle Wright inside to play middle linebacker. Bryant Jones graduates this year. So does Jonathan Lamb. So that leaves Trey Jolly. But our plan is to move Chris Johnson into that middle linebacker position for the next couple of seasons. I feel like he is the same kind of player that Bryant Jones is. Not the fastest, but they have great tackling ability. And that leaves David Sims to roam the field as an outside linebacker. Again, this kid is just something special, man. And we want to get him on the field a lot more. Phil Anderson, another one of those guys that I think needs to get some playing time. With 91 speed at outside linebacker. Great tackling ability. The problem is he just can't get off of blocks. The zone coverage is there. He's got great strength. We got to find a way to get him on the field just because of that 91 speed. We're also losing a lot in the cornerback room. Matt Scott, Bill Jennings, and Casey Buchanan are graduating this year. But I think we've got some guys in the wings that can kind of step into that role next season. Jermaine Coco will be the senior. You got James Ramirez as a sophomore. Same with Bo McGee. And then you got Brian Smith and Corey Forwarder coming off of their redshirt seasons. We're going to be very young outside of Coco, but these guys have great coverage ability. Ramirez, McGee, Smith, they all are man coverage corners. And it's going to be imperative that they get better. I can see Coco and McGee being the starting quarters and Ramirez being on the inside. And then, look for Forwarder to probably be the dime over Smith. But, yeah, I really am excited to see what happens next season with these guys because, we've relied a lot on Matt Scott the past couple seasons. And now it's time for the young guys to step up and show what they can do next. Hopefully, Dustin Carey will be back for his senior season. But waiting in the wings is Jonathan Thomas, the speedy free safety, man. 95 speed. So I think we're okay there. And then that strong safety again, Nick Ginn, hopefully he'll be back for his senior year. We've got Richard Anderson here now, but then we're also recruiting another guy to play strong safety. So it's a little different for the podcast this week. I think that this team is trying to get refocused. That A-State game was a scare. And we just got to come out and we have to play our best football the next 5 weeks. This LSU game is very important. Playing against the SEC, they're the bar. So we kind of have to go in and show why we are the number 1 team in the country. Then we hit the road to take on Texas. So the next 2 games, the Black Bears have to play their best football by far. And it starts against LSU, man. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Don't forget to ring that bell, join the Noti Squad. And make sure you guys hit those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG. and come through and join the Discord fan for exclusive content. And we'll talk from the Bayou as we take on the 3-4 LSU Tigers. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. Big thank you to all the members of the channel and the Patreons. If you would like to become a member or a Patreon, hit the links down below in my description.